Have you ever been lost in the woods? I was once. I think I was about 15, and I was on a group camping trip, and I wandered off into the woods, and, I got lost. It was so scary. After 15 minutes, I had wandered every which way, and everything started to look the same. And as the 15 minutes turned to 30 and to 45, it never really got any easier. I just felt more lost. And, I started to recognize things, but I was so lost still. Thankfully, obviously, I made my way out. And I lived. And moments like that are really scary. And I think really what I felt in that moment was I wish I had someone else there with me during the time where I felt really scared and alone, when I was in the depths of being lost in the woods. But afterwards, as my teenage self, I had a very limited ability to reflect. We're not really full conscious humans until, I would say, after 20. But then again, from my naive perspective, 23, and maybe I'll think it's later when I'm older. It is so windy up here. I'm filming this at the place with the title screenshot. So last time I talked about, I wish I would have filmed it in one of those places. I am doing it this time. So I'm really happy about that. But anyway, after I got out of that situation, even though I got myself in a really stupid situation and I kind of kicked myself for it, I also felt proud of myself for being able to get myself out of that situation by myself and only having myself. There might be some more cuts in this video because of just how windy it is, and I don't know how the audio is going to be. And, I think that was kind of one of the first times in my life where I had the realization that as long as you have yourself, it will be okay. And I've had other situations like that too. I remember this one time, it was about at the end of last year. I went on a trip to Washington, and I went to North Cascades National Park, and I hiked up this mountain. It was super cool. It started with rainforest, and I ended up hiking to the top of a mountain, and it was very snowy up there. And by the time I had to come back down, I was at the point where I had to leave then, but there was a storm coming that was producing very strong winds, I would say in excess of 70 kilometers per hour, or it's not an exact equation, but 50 miles per hour. I'm still learning both. But it was very fast wind gusts, and there's a section of the trail where it was just a rock wall, and I had to cross it. And I didn't really have a choice, because if I would have waited any longer, the storm could have gotten maybe a bit better or maybe worse. But it was going to be too dark for me to navigate, and especially given how windy that trail was, I had to be able to see properly. A flashlight wouldn't have sufficed. And, in that moment, I was really scared. I chose to lean on myself and trust myself that even though I was really terrified and that I kind of wish I wasn't alone right now, I had someone maybe to hold my hand and guide me through it, that as long as I had myself, it would be okay. And I think there's a lot of other moments in our lives where we wish we had someone with us. It's a couple's world out there, I would say. And especially as myself as a single person, I'm confronted with that fact a lot, especially given I travel. Everywhere I go, I tend to see couples doing things together, and I feel happy for them, but also in some ways a bit sad for myself. And such as something as simple as just going to the mall, or even going on a hike like this, or traveling to another part of the world on an airplane, or going to the airport, or sightseeing, or going to see a movie, going out to a restaurant is a very common example. And I think our society kind of stigmatizes the idea of just being alone, doing things alone for the sake because you want to do them, and not waiting to rely on another person to show up in your life or just be present in general to get you through it. I think independence, healthy independence, is really important. I don't think you should necessarily not, include other people. But I think there's a lot of beauty in being alone. even in just, I go out to eat alone a lot, and I only started doing that in the past like year or so, but I found it to be a really rewarding experience because I get to have yummy food and I get to build a relationship with myself, and I get more comfortable doing things that other people say I should not be doing alone. Traveling's another great example, right? I would say that solo traveling has been a lovely experience for me so far. You get to do whatever you want and at your own pace. And would it be really nice to include other people? Yeah, but as long as I have myself, it'll be at least enough for me to enjoy it. And I think that's okay. In general, I would say having other people included in things should be more of an additive thing rather than a requirement. That's how I view it in my own life, where if I don't have someone to include in something, it might make me a bit sad depending on what it is. I'll be honest with you. I mean, who doesn't get lonely sometimes? I'm not saying I'm above that. But what I am saying is that it is okay to just have yourself and do fun things that you enjoy. Another aspect of being okay with just having yourself is you truly discover the parts of yourself that are hidden when you're with other people. Most people, including myself to some extent, even today, we become different when we're around other people. I find it personally very hard to be my complete authentic self around other people, even people I'm very close with. And doing stuff alone and letting yourself be enough, it gives you the opportunity to get to know yourself in a very intimate way that isn't typically allowed when you spend your time around other people, or more namely, do activities you like to do, but you feel like you have to include other people. There's so many flies here, and it's so distracting. I don't even know why there's so many up here, but, I am in Algonquin Provincial Park is not a national park, and it's like just basically a bunch of bogs, so, what is there to really expect, right? But anyways, through just having yourself, like I've said, you really get to know yourself, and getting to know yourself in that way helps you be, I would say, more authentic around other people. I would say it wasn't really until I really gotten to know myself on that deep and intimate level by doing stuff alone that I enjoy doing. Things that feel uncomfortable, things that feel risky, things that feel wrong on a societal level to do alone. I think in those moments, I got to know parts of myself that, for example, I can be cold, but I also can be very loving. And I feel both those things towards myself and towards other people. And discovering hobbies like this, like photography, I felt too embarrassed to even do this with other people because I was afraid of not doing something good enough and having someone else witness it. But being alone and letting yourself be enough gives you a lot more room to make mistakes if you aren't someone that is okay making mistakes around other people. I myself am very self-conscious, so it helps to give myself space and breathing room to just let myself be and let myself fail or succeed in private. And then once I feel comfortable enough with myself, being able to include other people in that if I want to. I think probably, at least to myself, the most important part of letting myself be enough is that it helps me honestly understand other people better and puts me in a place where I can be more impartial to how other people treat me. We've all had a lot of times in our lives where someone's not treated us as well as we need to be. And in a lot of those cases, at least for myself, I would say that because I had attached so much worth to that person and I didn't feel like I was necessarily enough being alone without them, it really damaged me and it really started to warp myself. It made me adopt their own projections into my own insecurities and maybe into someone I'm not, made me think I should be someone I'm not, and lower my level of self-acceptance. I think it's very important in spending time alone to understand who you really are. And I think you really only get that when you do those things that you love to do but feel afraid to do alone. That you truly get to know who you are and ultimately what you want to be, what you want to do with your life, what direction you want to go in, your hobbies, your interests, your music taste. I think all of those things are things that are only truly developed alone. If I could have the viewer take away one key message from this video, is pick something that you really want to do with someone else, whether it be as something as big as a vacation or something as small as going out to a restaurant that you want to go to eat alone, or doing some historically big couple activity like going to a botanical garden or going to see a movie. Do that alone and just see how it feels. Take yourself out on dates, because you know how to treat yourself best, and through learning how you like to treat yourself, you will learn how you want other people to treat you, right? I think those are very important things that we as humans should do, that we should invite ourselves to get to know ourselves on an individual level. And through doing that, I do believe that is the key to getting connection with other people, because that builds confidence in yourself that you can't really get from other people. You don't get confidence from others. You don't get confidence from other people liking you or spending time with you or, choosing to accept you. You get confidence through doing those things with yourself. And that's the beauty of life, is learning to accept and love yourself, because once you fill up your own cup like that enough, the overflow you can give to others, and it'll be so much better than waiting around for someone to do the things you want to do. We only have one life, and every day you spend is one day you're not going to get back. So why spend those days waiting when instead you could spend those days doing? All right, that was my third video. So this has been Grey Cat or Alexa, and I hope you're having an amazing day. And even if you feel alone, you're never alone in a world like this. And if you ever need to reach out for anything or just talk, I love talking to people and helping others, so I will be very receptive to listen to that. Even if you think your problems are ridiculous or it's something I wouldn't want to hear, I would love to hear from you. I hope you're having a great day, but I hope you have a great rest of your day, week, month, year, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, I love you. Bye.